We often think of the future as something that kind of creeps up on us, right? Bit by bit. But every now and then, that's not how it works. Sometimes the future just arrives, all at once, on one single day that changes everything.
So, can a single day really change the future? I know, it sounds a little dramatic, but think about it. When we look back at history, we can almost always pinpoint these moments, these inflection points where the whole game changed. And for artificial intelligence, well, that day just happened.
And that day was September 18th, 2025. Mark that date down, because on that day, a whole bunch of things that seemed totally separate, stuff happening in boardrooms, in secret labs, and even in government, it all came together. And it sent one crystal clear message. AI's childhood, it's over. So let's break down exactly what went down, starting with the very guts of this new era.
All right, first up, the new Silicon Alliance. We've got to talk about how the very foundation of AI hardware was completely reshaped. Because on this day, the entire world of computer chips just got turned on its head.
So get this, Nvidia and Intel, right? These guys have been bitter rivals for decades, and they announced they're joining forces. The deal is that Intel is now going to build custom CPUs specifically for Nvidia's AI systems, and at the same time, Intel is going to start baking Nvidia's powerhouse GPUs right into its own PC chips. I mean, wow.
And listen, this wasn't just some friendly press release and a handshake. No way. Nvidia put its money where its mouth is, to the tune of $5 billion. That's a huge investment, buying them about a 4% stake in Intel. It's a massive vote of confidence for sure, but it's also a brilliant strategic move to get some real influence over its new partner.
So how did Wall Street react? Well, the numbers tell the whole story. Nvidia got a nice little bump, up about 3.4%. But Intel? Their stock shot up over 25%. That was its best day since, get this, 1973. That huge gap right there tells you everything you need to know about who is desperate for this deal to stay in the game.
And you want to talk about irony? This is just perfect. Back in 2005, Intel's board had the chance to just buy Nvidia outright. They passed. Fast forward to today, and after losing a mind-boggling $19 billion in 2024 alone, Intel is now taking a $5 billion lifeline from the very company they could have owned. It's an absolutely stunning reversal of fortune. Of course, Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang, called it a fusion of two world-class platforms. Very diplomatic, right? But let's read between the lines here. By making Intel build CPUs for them, Nvidia is basically turning the CPU into a sidekick. The GPU is the star of the show now. So this isn't really a partnership of equals. This is Nvidia cementing its place at the top of the entire AI hardware pyramid.
Okay, so that's the hardware. A total shakeup. But believe it or not, that was only half the story from that day. At the exact same time, the software world took a giant leap forward. This is what we're calling the dawn of the agent. We're talking about a fundamental shift from AI being a tool you use to an AI that's a partner that works for you.
And just like that, a whole new race kicked off. You can see the three main battlefields right here. You've got OpenAI coming for the developer's entire workflow. You've got Google trying to lock down the web with its Chrome agent. And then there's Meta making a huge play for the physical world with its new AI glasses. Three giants, three different strategies. So let's look at OpenAI first. They dropped GPT-5 Codex. The promise? An autonomous AI software engineer that can work on its own for more than 7 hours doing complex code reviews. I mean, that sounds amazing, right? But the reality was, well, a bit of a mess. Developers who got their hands on it immediately started complaining about crippling performance issues, saying it was just unusable for any kind of fast-paced work. A classic case of the tech being super powerful, but not quite ready for prime time. Okay, so what's Google's play? They're doing what Google does best, using their biggest weapon, the Chrome browser. The idea is to embed their Gemini AI agent right into Chrome. This agent can see and understand all of your open tabs. So imagine you're planning a trip. It can look at your flights, hotels, and activity sites all at once and pull it all together for you. They're trying to become the operating system for your life on the web. And then you've got Meta. They're thinking completely differently. They want to get AI off your phone screen and literally into your line of sight. Their new AI glasses, built with Ray-Ban, project info right onto the lens. And how do you control it? With a neural wristband that picks up on tiny, silent hand gestures. It's a bold vision for an AI that's just there, a part of your reality.
So what happens when you get this much power and hardware and software exploding all at once? Well, it's no surprise that the third big story of the day was all about the rules of the road. Yep, governments are finally stepping in, moving past all the abstract discussions and starting to write actual, concrete laws.
Over in Washington, D.C., a bill called the GUARD Act popped up, and its purpose is crystal clear: create a military AI research institute to make sure the U.S. stays ahead of rivals like China. So that phrase we've heard for years, the AI arms race, it's not just talk anymore. It is now officially being written into American law.
And it's not just happening at the federal level. Out in California, a landmark AI safety bill, SB 53, took a big step forward. And this is a big deal because it's one of the first laws in the U.S. with real teeth. It forces companies to be transparent about their safety protocols, it requires them to report big problems like cyber attacks, it protects whistleblowers, and it does one more really interesting thing. It creates something called CalCompute. And what is that? It's basically a state-owned public supercomputer for AI. The whole point is to democratize access to this insane computing power. It's California's attempt to level the playing field so that startups, academics, and researchers don't get completely shut out by the handful of tech giants who can afford to build these things themselves.
Okay, so let's take a breath. We've got a massive hardware alliance, the birth of AI agents, and the very first real laws. So when you stitch all of that together, what does this new grown-up era of AI actually mean for all of us?
It really boils down to 4 huge trends that all came into focus on that one day. First, you've got vertical integration, these closed proprietary ecosystems. Second, this new agentic paradigm. AI is no longer just a tool, it's a collaborator. Third, the physical reality of it all, the fact that AI's growth is a massive energy and infrastructure problem. And finally, formal governance. The days of the tech industry regulating itself are over. That's the new playbook.
So, why should you care about all this? Because this isn't just news for tech nerds. This new era of AI is set to redefine pretty much everything. We're talking business strategy, how you and I use the internet, even the global balance of power. The ground beneath our feet has fundamentally shifted.
In the span of just 24 hours, AI grew up. It's not a promising experiment in a lab anymore. It's a powerful, market-moving, world-shaping force. It has real rules now and real consequences. Its adolescence is over, which leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question. Are we ready for what comes next? Are we ready for its adulthood?